don't know that they, intentionally want to get anyone in their way there. But yeah, this is. Right ahead, so that may be what's going on. But here we come up to the 405, and we'll see the suspect's next move.
And I was going to ask you, Des, because you're giving us such a great shot of the car, but I was wondering, with all that open space, might they be trying to put down some spike strips or something up ahead because, the car is not going as fast. So, and we don't see as much traffic as you would typically see, even on the westbound side of the 10 at, almost 4 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon.
It's very possible. It could be a decent idea because the suspect is not going terribly fast. They haven't been making crazy erratic lane changes. Right. They've been tending to stick either to the far left or the far right. And with this kind of light traffic, it certainly could be an opportunity for them to get in with a spike strip. I'm pretty sure that's what we saw earlier on the northbound 110 where those express lanes were about to end at Adams. You saw that CHP unit that was sitting on the shoulder, and I think, well, Mike would know if they're involved at all, but I suspect that there may have been a spike strip attempt, or they would have been ready for it had the suspect continued. Suspect saw that, got over into the main line of the 110 to avoid that.
Yeah, and Des, just really quickly, I have been listening to the CHP radio. The CHP has been advised, but they're not involved. LAPD, not that I've heard, has not requested their help. And as we've talked about this before, CHP is one of the agencies that it's all theirs or it's not theirs. They don't share, and that's and that's understandable. It's because each department has different pursuit policies, different tactics, and they just want to make sure that they can control the whole thing. Des, if you don't mind, will you look at one of those patrol cars? I think this is one of the cars that has kind of a different light bar on top. I think the lights are on. I think they are still rolling what's called code 3. Yeah, you can see the rear brake lights too, and right on top there. So they do still have their lights and sirens on, and this is still a full-blown pursuit as we kind of approach the 405, or actually past the 405 now, right, Des?
Yeah, we are past the 405 and getting into the city of Santa Monica. And by the way, I did take that opportunity when they made the transition to the westbound 10. We were able to see very clearly into the passenger side and could see that there was no one in the front passenger seat. So unless there's someone in the back, and we can't see through that rear glass, unless there's someone in the back, then it's just the driver in the vehicle. And they've closed the sunroof, and you can see kind of like
he's exiting, right?
They really wanted this. They really wanted this flag or banner or whatever to be sticking out of the window. Kind of odd, but here we go. We are getting off the freeway now at Centinela. Busy West LA traffic, and we'll see what LAPD, what kind of tact they want to take for this as we get on to looks like coming up to southbound here onto Bundy Drive.
And of course, a pursuit like this, once it gets off the freeway, does become more dangerous as there are pedestrians out there, people at intersections unaware. We're looking at it right now, going through this intersection very aggressively, going through that intersection. And it certainly makes it more dangerous, but it does also give those officers an opportunity to put down the spike strips or do that pit maneuver. But looks already like he's getting right back on.
On the eastbound side, too, which is the super heavy side. When Des was able to get really tight in there, one of the things that I saw, the driver looks very agitated. He sometimes doesn't even have his hand on the wheel. I'm wondering if he's on the phone. I thought that earlier, but he looks like he's having a conversation with somebody in there and looks very agitated, kind of with his hand movements and stuff like that. So, it's always who knows what these guys are thinking when they're doing this, but it doesn't seem like this is a situation where this driver is calm. He definitely seemed agitated to me when we were able to look in the window.
Well, and it looks like if he stays in this lane, Mike, well, I was changing, of course, he would have been heading 405 northbound, heading in our direction, but he may be heading south now towards Long Beach. If he does continue this way, I'm guessing no matter what he chooses here is going to be a bad decision because look how much traffic is on the freeway at this hour.
This is one of the heaviest drives in LA, the eastbound 10 out of Santa Monica towards downtown LA. So very odd what this suspect was. I have no idea what they were trying to accomplish headed to Santa Monica and then doubling back on the 10. I mean, there isn't really a very serious attempt to get away from the authorities. So I'm just kind of wondering. I mean, we're seeing now driving in the center divider, and Of course, right as I say that, then we start to see them kind of trying to evade that slow traffic. But they're not going 100 miles an hour. They're not zigging and zagging all over the place. So it's almost like they're not really making that serious of an attempt, certainly not like we've seen with some of the other pursuits. And now, intentionally getting into traffic. I'm sure when they were headed westbound, they saw all of the nasty eastbound traffic, going the opposite direction. And now that suspect has put themselves right into this mess, into the center divider, where there could be all sorts of debris that could puncture a tire or something like that if they're just going to drive in the center divider the entire time. But here you go, LAPD right behind them, 20, 30 miles an hour. They are sticking with this vehicle here as we squeeze through the 405 and slow ride back towards downtown.
Is that the carpool lane or is that the shoulder?
It's just a shoulder. There's no carpool lanes, much to folks' chagrin. There's no carpool lanes on the Santa Monica freeway. The entire stretch from downtown through Santa Monica.
All right, well, that's good to know.
Traffic is
a good reminder too, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And as Desmond was mentioning, this driver not going too fast, but just continuing this pursuit at this hour here. And just not too long ago, we did find out that it's wanted for a robbery, grand theft. So that car you're looking at right there is stolen. Not too long ago, we did see what looked like could be a weapon being tossed from the car when this driver was on the 110 freeway for a little bit of time. He headed westbound on the 10 freeway into Santa Monica. And of course, he decided to get off and head back west in Santa Monica, eventually staying there right now. And if he would have stayed on the eastbound 10, he would have ended up in the city of Santa Monica, which of course, lots of traffic there on a day like today. But right now, just keeping police in pursuit of this suspect. As Mike was saying, he looked a little bit disheveled. He just kind of moving around a little bit, agitated. And whether or not he's on the phone with police, with investigators, with a family member, maybe to stop this pursuit, we don't know. But it looks like there's just one person in this car, and this pursuit continues.
Yes, it's been going on for a little over an hour now. Des up in SkyCal giving us a closer look at this person. Again, the windows definitely have that dark tint on it, so it is hard to see what is or if anyone else is in that car, but we were able to see, they're parting the way there for them a little bit, a little more aggressive, trying to get around all this traffic and picking up speed here. Again, this driver has been really, I mean, I hate to say it, on the calm side as far as driving, going the speed limit or under, not really doing a lot of aggressive lane changes or turns. But every now and again, we notice that he does pick things up a little bit, gets a little more aggressive, and just so much traffic on this stretch of roadway right here. Had the chance to get off, but got right back on and almost seemed to drive into the high traffic areas at this point. But we're watching as perhaps he's going to get off again, or watching.
There was a chance right there, Amy, but he didn't. All right, we are approaching the 4 o'clock hour here. KCAL News at 4 is what you're watching here as we continue following this pursuit happening right now on the 10 freeway eastbound. This is a suspect wanted for the robbery of that Mercedes. We believe it is an E-Class. We have Mike Rogers at the desk. We have Desmond Shaw up in SkyCal watching this all unfold. And as you can see here, the driver hitting a lot heavier traffic, and right behind him, the LAPD.
And as we did mention, this person again mentioned that they were wanted for robbery. At one point, we did see this person throw something out of the sunroof. It did appear like there it is right here on the right side of your screen. Watch closely. The hand goes up, and it does appear that it could be a weapon that they threw. Something, certainly a dark, heavy object that went quite some distance. But that has really been the majority of the activity that we've seen from this car. Again, this has been going on a little over an hour now. Robbery and grand theft auto suspect that police have been following most of the time on the freeways, the 110 now on the 10, but has really been avoiding the surface streets, which we know can be more dangerous, but it also gives officers an opportunity to put out spike strips or do a pit maneuver. Looks like they've just stopped. Other cars are also stopped, doors opening. And let's see if he's going to stay stopped. Nope, looks like still going there.
Well, that's new. He hasn't done that before.
No.
First time they've stopped in the traffic area, everyone. That's the first time we've seen LAPD with their doors open at one point or another. You know, this. If they would have handed this off to CHP and CHP would have taken it, I feel like CHP would have probably done a pit maneuver on the freeway at this point. We have seen it a couple of times in rush hour traffic, and you know, even though I mean, look at how much wide open kind of roadway there is here.
Yes.
A lot of cars on the side there
point.
too.
Yeah, it really, you know, could be a good opportunity for that, but it's not going to happen with this unit that is in front, and I don't think LAPD would do it anyway. But you can see there's no push bar on the front of that cruiser right there, which is what they pretty much always have if they're, you know, going to attempt something like that, so that they don't, you know, cause a lot of damage to their own vehicle. But yeah, kind of weird there. Coming to a stop there just for a moment, but here now the window down again, and look at this guy. It almost seems like another little something out the window they just threw. I couldn't tell what that. It might have almost just looked like a plastic wrapper or something. It got a big. Is that a? I think that looks like a Thomas guide. Wow. Just, okay, littering as well. It looked to me. It looked to me like a Thomas guide. Some of our younger viewers probably have no idea what those are, but.
Really reaching over to the side of the car, trying to find what we don't know there, something, and then throwing it out, looking agitated as we've been seeing earlier, and really aggressively trying to get something. We're watching a little closer.
And he's reaching into the back seat.
To the road,
yeah, and you know what sucks?
Oh boy!
Oh, goodness.
Oh wow!
Oh my gosh!
Okay.
What is he getting into the back seat?
Wow.
Totally. Yeah. I mean. Insanely distracted. I mean, we all live in LA and we see distracted drivers every day, but this is a very extreme case. Even at low speed, still extremely dangerous. Amazing he hasn't crashed into somebody already. Got something else in their hand here, but whatever that was, they saw it, they didn't like it, they ripped it up and threw it out the window. So I don't know if this driver having, you know, some sort of mental breakdown, but it looks like another book or something, but just a ton of distraction going on with this person here.
This isn't even his car, right? So the things that are in this probably aren't his either.
Exactly.
So he's rifling through someone else's stuff, and then presumably, and then who knows what he's looking for? Maybe he's looking for something that's going to help him with this. I don't know what, but it was kind of weird. Yeah, he threw it out, and this likely isn't even his things.
Yeah, and fortunately, traffic is slow enough that he was able to reach back into the car like that. And we're going to
again. We're going to watch it right here. He's throwing things outside the car, and he keeps fumbling around. It looks like he's going through his back pockets here for a second, going through that either manual or, as Desmond Shaw was saying, a map book, Thomas Guide, which was used for many years here in Southern California to get around. And as we kept watching this, it was so amazing, Amy. Look at this. You can almost see, the back of his pants as he tries getting something in the back seat. I thought he was really going to go into the back seat here just a moment ago, but there's something that he's very interested in, as Mike was saying, probably rifling through the property of whoever owns this car, looking for something. I don't know what he could possibly want that could help him in this case, because right now they're treating him as a grand theft auto suspect, leading police here on a pursuit.
Yes, and we saw a lot of cars pulling over, and you have to imagine that a lot of those drivers are seeing the cruisers, lights and sirens, so they're pulling over to get out of the way. We see a truck there over on the side, but this driver refusing to stop, now changing lanes, picking up speed a bit here. Doesn't appear that he's looking for anything else right now, but focusing a little more on the road. But that was definitely a new one for us, Juan. We don't often see that on these pursuits.
Indeed, we don't. And again, what's it going to be like when this does eventually come to an end? Will he eventually give up? Will it be a suspect who continues to be very agitated? Police obviously watching this unfold with us as well, planning ahead as how they're going to treat this situation. Now, hopefully for the motoring public this afternoon, this pursuit doesn't stop on the freeway. It'd be great if he does get off and pull off at least to the shoulder, so that people who want to go home can continue to go home. But if he stops, they're going to have to get him into custody, make sure he's not armed, make sure he's in handcuffs, put him in the car before they tow away this stolen Mercedes. So hopefully that's not going to be the case, and that they will be able to bring this pursuit to an end off the freeway. But I don't know. I mean, look at the traffic. I mean, it's heavy. It is slow. Anybody who travels on these freeways in the afternoon know it is a slow go no matter where you're heading. And again, he headed back into the downtown LA area. Now he's on the 10 freeway right around Fairfax Avenue. So again, that's an area that slows down quite a bit as well. So unless he gets off the freeway here, which he could be possibly getting off the freeway, he's just going to be stuck in a lot of heavy traffic. He's been threading these middle lanes here, these medians. He's been on the side of the road here. Just he wants to get away, but at times speeds, look at this, 10 miles an hour. Yeah. He's not going anywhere, but the LAPD right behind him there, as Mike was saying, this could have been turned over to the California Highway Patrol. The LAPD wants it. They're going to continue on this pursuit. And without a push bar in front of that vehicle, the LAPD vehicle, this is going to be one of those pursuits where he's just going to have to pull over, stop, and give himself up to police. But again, we're not seeing that right now.
No, and there's just too many other cars out there for them to attempt a pit maneuver unless they have a nice open gap there, and too many cars on the road to put down a spike strip. So this driver's going to have to either get off of the freeway, or officers are going to have to really block off some traffic to open things up so that they could actually attempt a pit maneuver. We don't see it often, but it does sometimes happen. I remember seeing it on the 101 on Pursuit not too long ago, but this is really going to keep police very busy as they just have to follow this driver until they can get him to either pull over or get some space there between those other drivers to put out a spike strip. And Desmond, a lot of traffic out there this afternoon, certainly keeping this at a slow pursuit, not even going 20 miles per hour at this point.
No, absolutely, and it's going to be this way all the way through the East LA interchange, and it just makes me wonder if the suspect is just kind of running out the clock, so to speak, on this, trying to drag this out as long as possible. You know, the other thing is that whatever that is sticking out, if it's a flag or a banner or whatever, is, sticks out like a sore thumb. If they, it's very easy to spot this car from half a mile away, because it's the only car that has this colorful piece of material hanging out of the sunroof. So if they wanted to have make a more serious attempt to get away, probably would have seen that ditched, probably would be seeing some higher speeds or them driving a lot more erratically. And the suspect kind of does that in bursts, maybe just for 10 or 15 seconds, and then seems to kind of calm back down, get back into lanes of the roadway, then stop, and then kind of speed away into the center divider or the right hand shoulder, and then just kind of coming back and cooperating with traffic. So very, very bizarre on this one, and it has been going so slow. I really feel like there could be a good opportunity for a spike strip, but LAPD, in a lot of ways, as we know, they've really been under a microscope over the last couple of years, more so than probably any other law enforcement agency, and it just seems like they've been taking a much more calm tact, a more relaxed tact with a lot of these pursuits. So we haven't seen a pit maneuver. We haven't heard any talk about that. We haven't seen a real spike strip attempt or any talk about that. We've seen some marathon pursuits go where LAPD, they stick with it, even though it can get dozens of miles out of their jurisdiction. They want to stick with it from end to end, and they will just follow it, however long it has to go without them doing anything that's going to endanger the public. It kind of seems to be the MO of LAPD in recent memory. Yeah,
just this week, didn't we have a report that said they did a study of pursuits all around the country that unless it was a very serious offense, we shouldn't pursue. Is that right, Mike?
Yeah, remember? Right. Yeah, that study said that there's a lot of things that should be looked at, and one of them is what's the seriousness of the want here, and also how fresh is it? Fresh meaning how recently did it happen? And we believe that the theft of this vehicle either happened in front of an officer or very near that they responded very near the time it happened. Obviously close enough to where they were able to kind of catch it in the act or something to that effect. So, and the other thing too, when we talk about pit maneuvers and spike strips and, the vehicles that can do it, I'm also curious, obviously there are things that the LAPD knows that we don't know, right? And the LAPD in the past has not conducted any of those things because there are officer safety concerns. Obviously, when you spin somebody around like that, if there's any reason to believe they're armed, which we have a decent reason to believe that based on what was thrown out of the car, then they won't do that. You don't want to spin a suspect around and have him facing you when he's potentially armed. Right. So, while yes, Des is right that they may have, the LAPD definitely has gotten a little bit more conservative in some of their tactics in recent years, there also could be a safety concern, and the pit maneuver has not been authorized because, as we've been talking, you have that same unit from the LAPD, that 77th unit that is right there. We have gone through I think like 5 or 6 different divisions of the LAPD so far, and they have not swapped out that unit. The 77th station has stayed with it. If they wanted to bring in a unit that maybe they were less worried about the damage to the patrol car, they certainly could have done that by now. They definitely could have made that choice to swap out those cars and to do that. So my guess is a pit maneuver has probably been denied by the watch commander for whatever reason that they've decided, possibly that they think this person is armed or the seriousness of the crime. They're worried that they could put officers at risk if you spin them around like that. Now, same thing with a spike strip. You're still putting an officer in front of the car when you do a spike strip. So it's hard to tell exactly what the conversations are with LAPD's command staff that are, obviously in charge of this. There is a sergeant. Usually the most rear vehicle in a pursuit package is the sergeant. And then, of course, you've got the watch commander at the station that is also monitoring it. And the watch commander at the station will make the ultimate call on what goes on and what happens here. And again, depending on the want, you could have detectives involved in this if this was something that they had been looking for this person for a little while, or if this was just a fresh stolen vehicle and robbery, which we kind of think that it is. So there's a lot of different factors in play here, but I think the fact that the LAPD has not swapped out any of their units that are in this, have not requested CHP, I think those are all very conscious decisions by the department.
And they probably wouldn't do it in such heavy traffic, and also based on the agitation that we've seen of the driver, and it looks here we're getting off the freeway, Des.
We are getting off of the freeway, and we also want to show our viewers this again. This is when it looks as though that suspect, you saw it right there. We're still waiting for confirmation. It did appear to be a weapon, but we cannot say for certain. We're also showing you some other video here where that person seemed to get a little agitated, started rummaging through items in this car. Again, this is a stolen car, so they're rummaging through notebooks or books, throwing them out of the window. But the big concern there was that item that went out of the sunroof, that dark, heavy object that they threw out. We're watching now as the car is stopped there briefly, getting off of the 10.
At Crenshaw Boulevard, it looks.
Yes.
Desmond, he kind of stopped. What? Any guess why he did that? Is there anything ahead? Is he trying to figure out straight, left, right, or what to do here?
No, it's weird.
There's somebody
oh,
there.
oh, whoa.
No. What?
He threw something to somebody.
Just tossed something to that guy.
To that guy's face.
Interesting. That was
Somebody's
very, very interesting.
Oh, I wonder.
Boy,
that was something.
Go ahead, Amy.
Yes,
Wow.
yes. And I'm wondering if another cruiser went after that guy who just collected whatever it was that he was throwing. And I think that's the thing. They're stopping. You're wondering, are they planning something? Now he's spinning back around, perhaps trying to get back on the freeway. But we have to hope that there was an officer that is with that person who did, in fact, catch some item that was thrown out. Hopefully we can rewind that so we can see again. There was someone that was standing at the intersection. You see him there in the white shirt.
He did catch something.
He catches it, and then he just walks right off unsuspectingly there. But we do hope that an officer saw that and is checking in to see who that person is and what they did in fact catch.
He caught it, and he just turned around very nonchalantly. So maybe when he was on the phone, he was on the phone with this guy. We do see something new every day with these pursuits, huh, Desmond?
Absolutely, and the tone of this pursuit has suddenly changed
Oh, yeah.
dramatically.
Yes.
All of a sudden, the
He's
suspect
getting
is
off
a
of the
maniac, now up onto the sidewalk to get around traffic. When they were going so mellow earlier on the freeway, and now they get off. Whatever they tossed to that person certainly looked like a planned maneuver, and now it is crazy driving in the center divider, up on the sidewalk briefly to evade authorities in extremely heavy traffic here on Crenshaw. Again, very normal at this time of the day, and now all of a sudden this has gotten very dangerous for folks that are just trying to get home for the afternoon. So how is LAPD going to respond now that the suspect all of a sudden on the wrong side of the road got up to 65 miles an hour there briefly on Crenshaw Boulevard?
All right, let's find out a little more information from Mike
Rogers. The doors are opening
desk,
here. And he's taking off again. He's trying to, at least. There's a lot of traffic there. He's trying to zigzag around these cars. But this is getting, really difficult because you've got so much traffic on this stretch of roadway.
Oh, boy.
Truck
Is he
trying
gonna
to block
block him
them.
in?
He's blocking him in.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Look at this.
yeah.
They doing
Intentionally.
this on purpose?
Intentionally,
so.
it does
It
look
looks
that
like
way. It does.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is
yeah.
so not what LAPD
that.
wants.
No, not
No,
at all.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Well,
hands
yeah,
out.
Look at that now. All of a sudden, the hands are up. Interesting. Wow.
That is.
Well, a good Samaritan getting involved here. As Mike
Wow.
said, definitely not what
Wow.
LAPD wants. They're going to tell that person to get out of their vehicle and run for cover.
Yeah, because now he's in the line of fire.
Yeah, absolutely. However, the good news is the hands are out the window, and it seems like that suspect just wanted to ditch whatever that was. That looked like a very planned maneuver there, a handoff off of the freeway, and then tried to take off right after handing whatever that was off. And now, just a few moments later, looked to be content to finally surrender to LAPD here.
Looks like
on
the
Crenshaw
guy in the
Boulevard.
pickup truck just stepped away, Desmond, in a
Walking
white
in white
T-shirt and
t-shirt,
blue
yes.
jeans.
Yeah.
Looks like he stepped away.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this guy coming out the window.
Well, that,
Mike, would they have asked him to come out the window like that?
If he couldn't open the door, they will. If he wasn't able to open the door, they will. And that, explains all that slow driving was probably just planning
Yes.
to get that guy in the right spot to do the handoff. This
and
is
his pants are falling down,
not his
too.
best day
Yeah.
coming out of the driver's side window here. But, and I did just hear from a source that said that the Grand Theft Auto here was witnessed by somebody who called it into LAPD. So it was a witnessed crime that the LAPD was notified of and then started following. And here's where we are. I'm curious to know if they got that other guy in custody as well.
Oh, my goodness. I think his pants are caught on something inside the car, and he's kind of stuck. You saw that, Desmond, how he lifted his hands up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. A little bit of gymnastics here. I don't want to zoom in anymore, just in case the second layer of clothing
Comes off, right?
starts to slip off of his waistband here. But, yeah, kind of a slightly comical ending to this. If they should have just been able to open the door and come out, but I don't know. The window down, and now doing a little bit of asphalt gymnastics.
Yes,
Asphalt gymnastics.
yes, and this truck certainly stopping this car. This is, of course, not what any officer wants you to do, not get involved in a pursuit like this. I'm sure the person thought that they were helping out, but this is not a safe way to help out. And it is still very interesting to, find out what item was thrown to that person. Clearly, they were planning. It looked very planned. And this person was able to, we're going to try to show that to you as well, but
We're going to start here where things got interesting right this afternoon. First, that gun toss. We're assuming it's a gun toss. The suspect wanted for robbery, grand theft, auto pursuit. Then this bit of video here where he starts to grab things from the back seat of the car. Looks like maybe the